Hi everyone, welcome to Medical Microbiology. Today we will continue chapter 24, DNA viruses that infect human. Today will be the last lecture for this chapter. We will discuss the non-enveloped or naked DNA viruses. Okay, so remember again this chart. Okay, DNA viruses that infect human. Okay, remember because human is animal, therefore this virus will be considered as animal viruses. Viruses that infect animal, including the human. And remember again, most of the animal viruses has envelope. Right? Therefore, the envelope virus will be here. And then because this is DNA viruses, then most of the DNA viruses will be double strand. Okay, so it's double helix like this. Okay, so it's going to be double strand. Okay, therefore, the most common type of DNA viruses that infect human will be enveloped double-stranded DNA viruses, which is this side over here. Okay, there are three groups. Okay, fox viruses, herpes viruses, and viruses, which is this is hepatitis B virus. Okay, now we already finished with this envelope double-stranded DNA on the previous lecture. Now, in this lecture, we will talk about the second type of DNA viruses, which is the non-envelope or naked viruses. Okay? So it could be carry the dsDNA or double-stranded DNA, or maybe carry single-stranded DNA or ssDNA. For the double-stranded DNA, so naked viruses that carry double-stranded DNA will be three groups, which is adenoviruses, polyomaviruses, and papillomaviruses. The naked single-stranded DNA will be only one, which is parvoviruses. Okay, remember this is over here, the naked single-stranded DNA will be the least common type of DNA virus that infect human. Okay, again, the most common type will be it has envelope and carry double-stranded DNA. Okay, so we will continue with the double-stranded DNA, so naked, non-envelope, double-stranded DNA. Okay, will be three groups. Okay, so this one, the adenoviruses, papillomaviruses, and polyomaviruses. So this is naked, naked dsDNA. Okay, this one carry double-stranded DNA. The parvovirus will be naked, carry single-stranded DNA. Only one, which is parvoviruses. Okay, we start with number one, the adenoviruses. Again, this one will be naked viruses. Okay, so this is non-envelope viruses or naked viruses that carry double-stranded DNA. This is under, this picture is under the electron microscope, how it look like. It's just capsid over here. Okay, so this is actually capsid, icosahedral capsid, right? So there is no envelope and no spikes on these viruses. So mostly the disease is related to respiratory tract infection, okay, like it's similar to colds, pharyngitis, and maybe also in when it is infecting the eyes, it can cause conjunctivitis, okay, and keratoconjunctivitis, which is infections around the eyes, okay, in the eyes. Okay, the second and the third one, papilloma and polyoma viruses. They are very small, non-enveloped dsDNA, eh, causing some persistent infection, and sometimes it can cause tumor, eh, cancer and tumor. Okay, so papillomaviruses is also known as HPV, human papillomaviruses. This is the one that infect human. And by the way, if you reach age 16 or 18, I think it is required to get this HPV vaccination, yeah, to try to, prevent from cancer, especially for women. Try to prevent from the cervical cancer that is sometimes it is triggered by these human papilloma viruses. The most common type of infection is called the common warts, which is a type of skin infection. Right? And this wart can recur. It means that they actually stay the virus dormant inside our body, and it can recur after, after maybe we able to remove these common warts from our skin. Okay. There are two types of warts. The first one is called the common seed wart. This is on the skin, okay, skin of the body in our hand, maybe our leg. But the other one over here is called the plantar wart. This is a little bit bigger and painful, because mostly if you have this, it's going to be difficult to walk or to, wear shoes, for example. This one also can cause what we call the genital wart. And this is one of the most common STD, sexual transmitted disease, in the United States. Okay, so this is just the common seed wart on our skin, and this is the genital wart. Okay, again, as I mentioned before, the human papillomaviruses can trigger cancer. Therefore, usually young adults are required to have the human papillomavirus vaccination. So this is the vaccinations that some of you maybe have to take it. And usually that vaccination is a double vaccination. You will get first vaccination, and then there will be a second booster vaccination, okay, for this human papilloma viruses vaccination. Okay, this virus can also cause a disease called JC and BK viruses. This JC and BK is actually the abbreviation of the patient, the first patient that have this kind of viral infection, okay, this kind of disease, JC and BK viruses. That's for the polyomaviruses. Now we go to the last one, which is the non-enveloped ssDNA. So it's gonna be capsid, and then the single-stranded DNA inside the capsid, okay, in the nuclear, in the center, okay. Mostly this virus causing infection to animal like cat and dogs is called a distemper. Okay, so mostly on the cats and dog, but it can also causing infection to human. The one that causing infection to the human is called the B9 viruses. Okay, so this is the Parvoviruses type B9 that causing the infection is called the erythema infectiosum, or the most common name for this disease is called the fifth disease, usually on children, which is rash on the skin, and mostly the rash is present on the cheek. So the cheek of this child will be reddish, just like, you know, someone just slapped his or her cheek. So this is a cheek rash on the children, and it's also known as the fifth disease, and this is caused by the adenoviruses. There is another virus that has to be associated with these adenoviruses. It's called the adeno-associated viruses, and this is a defective virus that cannot replicate without the real adenoviruses. So this is what we call remember the satellite viruses, the virus that need another virus in order to replicate. Okay, I think that's all for chapter 24, the human DNA viruses. And again, just remember the most common one will be the enveloped double-stranded DNA viruses. There are three groups, okay, the pox viruses, herpes viruses, and viruses. And the second one will be naked double-stranded DNA. Okay, and the last one, which is the least common one, will be naked single-stranded DNA virus. That's all for chapter 24. And we will see you again on chapter 25, which is RNA viruses that infect humans.